So I worked in the world's largest renewable energy company, but then I worked in also one of the world's largest oil and gas companies. So I was dealing with the electrons, which is solar energy, and with the molecules, which is what you store. And the beauty of hydrogen, and I'm a hydrogen fan, is that you transform the solar energy into a molecule that suddenly behaves like oil or gas or coal. You can store it, you can put it on a ship, you can move it around, and you use it when you need it. And what is often misunderstood is just how cost competitive that molecule can be. It can be a lot cheaper than fossil fuels today with today's technology. And this wasn't the case only 5 years ago. So it's a very recent thing. And it has to do with the steep fall in the price of solar energy.
When do you see scale being achieved?
So we are building Europe's largest LNG terminal in Germany, in Wilhelmshaven. And that terminal will import normal LNG, conventional gas. But increasingly, starting in 2026, we will import what we call ENG, electric natural gas. So that's natural gas made from hydrogen. So the problem with hydrogen, once you have it, say, in the desert of Texas or the desert of Tunisia or the desert of Australia, it's not so easy to transport the hydrogen into Germany or into the UK or where it's needed. So what we do is we do a second step. We convert the hydrogen into methane by putting it together with CO2. And then we have a completely renewable molecule that you can use whenever you need to. And this is going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper as the technology evolves and the costs of what we call the electrolyzers, which is what you need to make the hydrogen, keep falling. So I'm not, we need nuclear, we need wind, we need electric cars, we need all the solutions. But this is often misunderstood technology. It seems complex, it seems costly. It's actually a lot easier to produce than to drill for oil and gas, which was my previous job in very deep seas.
Can we talk about the mix that hydrogen will have in the energy systems of the future? What percentage is it going to be?
So there's now finally, I would say, a consensus. There used to be a completely fragmented or even polarized view of the world where the electron people, and this is true in the States, in France, in China, you have the oil companies and you have the utility companies. They are always separate. And so you had the oil companies saying it's all going to be oil and the utility companies saying it's all going to be electricity. The consensus now, finally, if you ask like 20 experts, they'll say more or less the same thing. It's going to be 50%. This is a fully decarbonized energy system. 50% is going to be electrons. That means direct electricity. That means electric cars, electric heating, electric industry. And the other 50% is going to be green molecules. About half of that is going to be made through some form of hydrogen, and the other half some form of biofuels. And so hydrogen is going to be about 25% of the energy mix, which is huge. It's about the market share of oil today.
By when?
This is by 2050, but hopefully we start scaling it up very quickly already this decade.
So as we think about